It's day 20 of our Knit at 9 series, and welcome to the Knitathon. Welcome to the Knitathon on day 20. We are crafting for a cause, the American Cancer Society to be exact. I'm hosting a fundraiser that is a knitathon, and you can donate. You can donate directly to the American Cancer Society, and also the reason we're here is that you can sponsor an item for me to knit in my knitathon. The items that I'm creating are going to cancer patients going through chemo. That is what this Knit at 9 series is all about. If you've seen it but didn't quite know exactly what was going on, now you know what's going on. It's a knitathon. We are crafting daily, knitting daily, or crochet for cancer patients that are going through chemo. And this is all in support of the American Cancer Society. So I'm glad you're here. If this is the first day here, let me know that this is your first time joining us. Just say one or first in the comments so that I know this is your first time joining us. Good morning, Kelly. Kelly is one of our sponsors, an amazing sponsor. Your donation goes a long way, Kelly. I appreciate your support so much. And tuning into the live stream here is another way to show your support. Um, Commenting in the comments by saying someone's name that needs a prayer request or offering words of affirmation in the comments as well for those affected. They may be tuning into us each day during November. Anything that you can do in forms of support is greatly appreciated. Words of affirmation, or if you don't know what words to say, you can sponsor an item that will go to a patient going through chemo. So today we are working on a crochet item. Actually, it's half crochet and half knit. We are working on a bookmarker. It's a cozy bookmarker for a chemo patient, and I want to pull you in closer so that you can see what we're doing. And this project today is actually sponsored by Amy. Thank you, Amy, for sponsoring today's project. Actually, before we go into the project, let me just show you the calendar of our active projects and our completed projects. At the top, you'll see what we've already worked on here on the live. Each day, there's a different project that we're working on. And today, we're working on this bookmarker sponsored by Amy. Thank you, Amy, for sponsoring this. And you can see what projects are coming up. We have a few more projects sponsored by Amy this week. Next week, we go into another project with Amy, a project with Kelly, and a few projects with Zena. Zena's ending the month for us. We're ending strong. And then on the very last day, we're going to do a raffle with all of our sponsors. If you're not in that raffle, if you've not donated yet and become a sponsor, you still have time because if you look at our overflow tracker, you still have spaces here that you can fill in. And also, if you've noticed, these are our overflow projects that we've completed so far. And we've completed two of the projects for Susie. Thank you, Susie, for sponsoring our overflow projects today. I want to show you what those look like. So yesterday, if you remember the cotton candy scarf that we created, we're still on the pink theme. These are more cozy chemo scarves, and these are sponsored by Susie. So we have a hot pink here, this hot pink. And then we also have this like dusty rose color pink that's beautiful as well. And they're both infinity scarves that go on and on. and wrap around your neck to keep you cozy. So these two are sponsored by Susie. Thank you, Susie, for sponsoring these overflow projects. Such an amazing sponsors here. I love it. So let me bring you closer into what we're working on. We're actually working on another rose, and this is what the rose looks like. But I want to show you the steps for the rose flower. This flower has a stem that is knit on the Addy machine. So it is a panel knit. Let me make this bigger. So this is panel knitting. We did 15 rows of this green color. And I like using this Lion brand homespun because it's very forgiving for the stem. And we just leave a long tail so that I can weave in the flower at the top of the stem. So the rose flower itself, there's 4 rows. So the very first row is a chain that you see here. It's a chain of 105. So this is row 1, this chain. And then when we get to the end of row 1, we actually start from the 3rd chain and we're doing half double crochets all the way down. So when you finish the 2nd row of half double crochet, this is what it looks like. So you have this side right here, that's the chain. And then you have this side right here, that's the half double crochet. And so we do that all the way down the entire length of the chain. And remember that chain is 105 chains. So once we get to the end of this half double crochet row, we chain 6 and then we turn it around. And then we go into the 4th chain from the stitch and we do a double crochet. So then we chain 3, go into the 3rd stitch and do another double crochet. Chain 3, 3rd stitch, another double crochet. And so we do that down the entire length of this. And that would be the 3rd row. And this is what that looks like. So this is our very first chain 6. Then we double crocheted in the 4th stitch. Then we chain 3, double crochet in the 3rd stitch, chain 3, double crochet in the 3rd stitch, and we did that all the way down. And that is the 3rd row of the flower. So there's only 4 rows in the flower, but the 4th row has 3 different petals because what we're creating are petals. We are creating these petals right here. So we're creating our petals on this chain, and then once we're finished, we actually roll it up so that it creates this flower. So after we've gone through and done the entire row of chain 3 and double crochet in the 3rd stitch, then we chain 3 again, and then we turn it, and then we're doing 4 double crochet in the first space, which is what this is right here. So this is the 4th row. You can see this has the chain 3 double crochet in 3rd stitch all the way down. But we've started the pattern, and so it's 4 double crochet in the first 4 spaces. This is what we have here. So that's the first pattern. There's 2 more patterns. The next pattern, we are chaining 3 double crochet in the next space, 2 double crochet in the post, 3 double crochet in the next space, chain 3, and we're going to slip stitch on the same side and then slip stitch on the other side. We're going to do this 5 times. So this is one of the petals and I need to do it 4 more times. So we're starting with this golden color and then we're going to end with this lighter yellow color. So we're on the chain 3. This is the next petal that we're creating. So we're going to do 3 double crochet in this space. And the double crochet, just as a reminder, is yarn over, insert into the hole, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through the second 2. That's a double crochet. I'm going to do 1 more of those in this space. And then we're going to do 2 in this post. 2 double crochet. That's the first one. And that's the second one. Then we're going to do 3 double crochet in this next space. If I can get it. Giving myself some slack on the yarn. Okay, that was 1. That's 2. And that's 3. So we're going to chain 3. And then slip stitch on the same side. And then slip stitch on the other side so that we can anchor it on the other side and start a new petal. So we're going to chain 3 to start that new petal. 3 double crochet in this first space. 1, 2, 3. My yarn here is tangled. And then 2 double crochet in the post. That's the middle of the petal. That was the first one. That's the second one. And then 3 double crochet in the next space. This is the second half of our petal. 1, oops. 2. This yarn doesn't have very much slip. Okay, this is the third double crochet in this space. So now we're going to chain 3 because this is the end of this petal. First, we're going to slip stitch on the same side and then slip stitch on the next side. So now we have created 3 of these petals and we need 2 more. Two double crochet on that first side, and then here's the third one. 2 double crochet in the post. and then 3 double crochet on the second side. And 3. Chain 3 and anchor it with the slip stitch on the same side and then the opposite side. We're coming to the end of this gold yarn. This is the last petal. Not sure if we'll have enough for this last petal. Let's see. If we do, that would be great. Now, 2 in the post. I think we're going to make it. 3 on the second side. And then the chain 3. So we're going to do the slip stitch on the same side first. And then we're going to do a slip stitch on the other side, but we're going to pick up the new color so that I can slip stitch with this. Kind of awkward to hold it at first. Bringing this through. On the slip stitch. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals. Now we're doing a different pattern with treble crochet. So our petals are going to be taller. Right now the petals are a bit short. The petals are going to be a bit taller and they'll have a peak right in the middle. And this is going to be with the color change. So instead of chaining 3 and doing double crochets, we're chaining 4 and we're doing treble crochets. Just giving myself a little bit of slack on the yarn here. Okay, so starting with the chain 4, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to do 4 trebles in this first space. And that's yarn over twice, insert it in, pull up the loop, and we yarn over through the first 2, yarn over through the next 2, and yarn over pull through the last 2. So we're going to do 4 of those. Oops. Need to yarn over twice. Now I have to put my mindset on treble rather than double. And remember to wrap it twice. So another bit of a difference in this post, we're going to do the first treble in the post. Then we're going to chain 2 and do a slip stitch in the bottom of this chain 2 so that it can create a little peak for our petal. Then we're going to do 4 trebles in this next space. That was 3. This is the 4th one. And then to end off this petal, we're going to chain 4. And slip stitch on the same side. Then slip stitch on the other side. And start a new petal by chaining 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is what our second petal looks like. And it has a little peak at the top versus this petal. So this petal, the lighter color, we're going to do this 10 times. This is the first one. So 9 more to go. Trying to give my yarn some space. I'm not sure if I made a treble or double crochet, so I'm just going to do it over. Both of these yarns that we're using are Red Heart yarns. I've noticed that the yellow one, it actually is splitting a little bit. Like the fibers, the ply, the 4-ply, is kind of splitting. It doesn't stay together very well. This is the second half of the petal. 4 treble crochets in this space here. We're on number 2, and this right here is number 3. And then the last one, number 4. Then the chain 4. This ball actually has multiple strands in there. I didn't realize that. So we're going to have to connect this color again. And I'm actually going to connect it on the slip stitch. Makes it easier. Now, I'm not sure how many separate pieces we have in here, but I guess we'll find out. So I'm going to slip stitch with the new color, not new color, the new, starting the new yarn. And I just dropped my ball. Okay, so now we're going to chain 4, starting our new petal. See, that was just a split there. Definitely have to be careful if the yarn starts to split on you so that you don't go through the yarn, and you make sure that you have all 4 plies on your hook. Now we're going into that post. And one more into the post. Give myself some more slack. If anyone's interested in the pattern, let me know. I can definitely share it. Um, one more. And the last side. The pattern may seem a bit confusing, but once you start and do the stitches repetitively, it becomes a lot easier. Especially since there's technically only 4 rows to the flower. The last one just has the different combination of stitches. Oh, that's not where we do that. On the first post treble crochet, we add 2 additional chains and slip stitch in the bottom of that chain so that we can create the little peak on the petal. Then we add 1 more treble crochet in that same post. And then 4 trebles on the second side. Then chain 4 and do our slip stitches on each side to anchor it down so that we can start a brand new chain 4 that starts a brand new petal. So, how are we feeling about this flower? This is what we're creating. Actually, I like it a bit closer. This is what we are creating. This is what we are working towards. The very first petals that we create are in the middle, and then you have the ones that are a little bit taller right on the outer rim of that. And this very last layer or the larger petals, these are the ones that we're creating now. These are the ones that have the peak at the top, and that's what we are creating now. So you can see as it's coming together the difference in the petals. It's pretty cool. I think it's cool the way the flower works up and the way you just put it together. Of course, we'll have to weave in all of these ends here, but once we get to the very end, we just roll the flower on itself. The half double crochet line is basically our base. And once you keep rolling it and rolling it and rolling it and rolling, it gets to the very end, you start to create the rose. The flower comes together after you add all of the petals. And I mean, honestly, I imagine if you wanted to have more petals, you could chain even more, make your chain even longer than what we have it if you wanted to have more petals on your flower. But I think the petals that are in this pattern work up nicely. I mean, it works up to be a really nice flower. Good morning, Pam. Thank you for tuning in to our bookmarker um, crafting day. Thank you. Yeah, this flower works up really pretty. I like the way that it works up. We're doing a next petal with the treble crochet stitch. 4 treble crochets in this first side, and that's a yarn over twice. Insert the hook, yarn over and pull up, yarn over and pull through the first 2, yarn over and pull through the next 2, yarn over and pull through the last 2. That is a treble crochet or triple. Treble or triple, same thing. And this is the last one for this side. We do 4 on this side. So we're going to do the first treble in this post. The post trebles have a chain 2 on the end and then a slip stitch just to give it that little peak on the top, the little mountain peak. And then we do the next 4 on the other side. There's 3, and then there's 4. To make sure I don't split my yarn, 4 chains to end off the petal, securing it on one side, and then starting a new petal on the other side. I think having the variegated yarn colors makes a really pretty flower. But if you don't have the variegated and just go in with changing your colors on the petals, that works out pretty too. That's actually what we did on this rose. We started with the red and then we changed the color to this mint green color. But this yarn is a lot thinner. It's probably like a 3-ply, very fine yarn. This one is thicker. That's why the flower is fluffier. So our reader will have a nice way to mark their pages by hanging a flower on the page that they're on. Or decorating the reading experience while they're going through chemo treatments. Okay, this is the end of this petal. We have created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 petals. 4 more to go. Another thing I like about crochet, it's easy to see where you are and what you've done, especially with the color change. Like I can clearly see that there's the beginning of our petal, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 treble crochets inside there. So the next 2 treble crochets that we're creating are going to go in this post stitch right here. It's a lot easier to see what you're doing with crochet. So that was the first treble, and it has 2 chains at the end, and then we slip stitch on the bottom to make the peak, and then 2 more trebles. So we have the 2, let's see if that's going to focus. We have the 2 in this post, and we're doing 4 more in the next space. Oops. Don't know what happened there. Trying to flip stitch with no yarn. So I'm going to do the last 3 petals while I give you some music. Our last petal. Last time. We're just going to do one last slip stitch on the end. Bring that last loop through so we can cut it off. And we have all of our petals. We have 10 of the lighter color. We have 5 of this darker color. And then the same color, we have 1 like continuous petal. So first I need to weave in these ends, but I'm going to cut off some of the excess to start with. I'm looking for my favorite darning needle. Let's start with this end. Just weaving them in. I'm going to weave it in on the bottom of the petal. Perfect place. Because it's going to be all nestled inside. We probably have about 4 or 5 ends that we need to weave in. This one, I'm just going to go in and out because this is the bottom row. Definitely not going to be noticeable. And this one here. Going to weave it into this bottom row. All the way across that petal. And just stretch it out. Then this one, I'm going to take it this direction. weaving it under all of those stitches. Fluff it a little. We have 2 more. Lots of tails on here. Weave this one in. All the way across. Pull it through. Fluff it a little. And I think this is the last one. And I'm going to weave it through the bottom of this petal. Pull it through. Fluff it out. Cut off that excess. Okay, so now we have our full flower chain that we can roll up. Actually, I'm going to use this color to bind it together. It's going to give myself a bit to work with. And load my darning needle. Get it ready. So that we're going to start at the first end, the small end, and we're going to start to roll it on top of it so. And continue to roll. This half double crochet row right here is our base to basically keep it all together. So just follow that from the beginning to the end, rolling it together. Until we get to the end. So this is what it looks like on the bottom, and this is what it looks like on the top. Cute. So we're going to weave through this bottom to keep it together. And you'll be able to feel where your darning needle goes in on one side and out on the other side of the base. So keep it together. I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail on this side. And we're just going to go through a few times just to secure it, to keep the flower together. Just kind of alternating our way around. From one end to the next. I keep thinking of pulling it out. And then let's do this last one right here. Actually, I want to do one right here. Don't have this side yet. Okay. So now I'm going to actually cut this one off. I'm going to weave these in and cut them off as well. And this last one here. Gotta make it secure, right? Okay. So there's our flower. Look how cute it's blossoming. You can actually attach it to a garment if you like, but we're not going to do that. We're making bookmarkers. So now I can attach it to my stem. I'm going to add my stem to the darning. And so that I can attach it to the end here. So we're actually going to go into this base. This Lion Brand homespun is a bit fluffy. So sometimes it takes a bit of effort to pull it through. So we're going through the base and through the stem. Gotta get a grip. Here. I go back on this side. Through the base and through the stem. To make our way around. It's a bit fiddly when you first anchor it, but once you get it anchored, you can then go all the way around. I think this goes this way. And then we can just weave the rest of the tail. The rest of this tail just down the stem. That's why I like this homespun. The fluffiness makes it so forgiving. The stitches just blend together. And we have our flower. Look how cute. Our bookmarker. Our bookmarker is complete. It's a golden bookmarker. Ooh, we're a few minutes over. Mm. Oh, Kelly, you love those colors? It's very pretty together. Good morning, Cherie. Thank you for tuning in. You came in to when we were crafting our bookmarker. This project is sponsored by Amy. Thank you. It's cute. I love the way it turned out. I like the colors too. This project is sponsored by Amy. Let me actually add this tag on here. And here's my crochet hook. So we can get those strings to come through. Tie a bow. This is our bookmarker. The stem is knit and the flower is crochet. Thank you, Amy, for sponsoring this project. Thank you for tuning in to our Knit at Nine series. We are crafting for a cause every day in November, except Sundays, at 9 a.m. for 1 hour. Hopefully, you'll join us tomorrow. We'll be back. Until then, Janet, Janae, and Addie. Addie is behind us, the Addie Express machine. We're saying bye for now.